wild about the view that the whole concept of random mutation already off the bat is mathematically impossible. Math and probability works against them. But a way bigger problem here is that the risk, the expense versus the reward is a human-centric view on strict material that's randomly acting. So, like, it's funny, like, even the proponent and me being the skeptic still have to use human-centric concepts of, like, whatever, supply and demand.
Did he just call himself a skeptic? Interesting.
And scarcity and risk reward.
Yeah, I guess he could be a skeptical Christian. Say a bit more cynical in his approach. That's my opinion.
Their view, there is not even that happening. That's what's wild. Even that's not happening. Something about false teachers? Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know how it's... I just don't understand how you could hijack the whole chat.
Well, you call it hijacking, but clearly it's got them engaged in argumentation, so...
To talk about something that's not the topic.
Jim Bob's mad because they distracted his chat with argumentation.
To answer the question of the origin of life. But on top of this, since there was a little bit of voltage generated here as well, this is also important for another field. A field referred to as blue
mutations are beneficial. Okay.
Keeps
yeah,
that.
Great. Would you like to jump on and just look at camera? Okay.
She's obviously mutated some new abilities for her skin suit. Nice. He's got the best people in his chat, doesn't he? Just great people. Like I tend to think that half of them are probably trolling him as well. Just like, you know, saying shit that's like on the fringes of TOS, you know. See if he can repeat it, you know, and get away with it.
Sorry, I'm vicious with Anson. I hate his view. Anson, I hate your worldview. But I'm glad you're making jokes. Actually, let's give him a fair shot. Mutations are beneficial. Just look at Kamala. She's obviously mutated some new abilities in her skin suit. It's true. We need to get the
He's got secular rarity now.
people what they need. Hope and excitement, and then do you deny? Ansom's just funning.
energy harvesting, clean, renewable, and long-term sources of energy, very often by using the process of...
Again,
we're just watching this live Jim Bob stream right now. This is the only other thing I saw on. I was over at Brojo's for a minute. He was watching some other video, but anyway, the room is open if anybody wants to hang for a few. I'm chilling, doing housework and watching videos.
What does he point to? For us to grasp what's happening, what does he point to? What does he show a clip of?
For another field, a field referred to as blue energy harvesting, clean, renewable, and long-term sources of energy.
All of the concepts we use to mimic in creating and manifesting energy for ourselves is based on a model that I believe is totally randomly created. Yeah. It sounds totally...
Well, see, you just introduced creation. A randomized process doesn't imply creation. Creation implies intent.
rational to build our cities and our skylines and our homes and our heating system and cooling systems based on nature, which is essentially has no design, is totally random.
Very often by using the
Weakness,
process of
weakness. Beep
osmosis
boop, beep
and
boop.
various means to
See,
Beep
create
boop,
math.
beep.
in trying to mock him, he just proved his own point. Because it's like, oh yeah, because it implies a mind, but it's actually totally random, right?
Beep boop,
Brains.
beep boop.
It implies design.
This is actually an
Nonsense. Detrimental mutation exists. All mutation is detrimental. It's only detrimental, atheists. You haven't. You can't. You couldn't.
Whoa, that's a hot take right there. It's only detrimental. You know, mutation. That's what natural selection is, right? It's adaptation to the environment that is advantageous to the reproduction of the species, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't fucking be here.
Couldn't possibly give me a mutation that was not detrimental. That a mutation that was random that produced and inserted new valuable information to the genome.
Well, the mutation itself, right? It occurs randomly, right? But it also occurs as some variation that makes that species more more better suited to the environment that they currently inhabit.
Can quickly respond by environmental changes. No. Dude, do you understand how insane what you're saying is? By the way, what you're saying assumes something you can't even defend. All mutations, even when you call them even when you call a mutation simply an erroneous duplication of existing matter, it's neutral. It's not neutral over time. It actually falls. It actually um, degrades the overall system. That's not even true. There's
I
non.
love how he's just got some random user named Atheist in his side chat arguing against him. You think that's a troll? Ridiculous. You just don't understand mutation. Gorilla's random thoughts. Hey, good to see you. Halcyonic Kaiju. And Geo Sam. Chillin', never illin' in my mouth. I got two fillings. I have wait, 1, 2, 3. 3 fillings. No, wait, this one. I got 2 or 3. One of them fell out a while ago. Good to see y'all. Oh, Gorilla says can't come up at work. And Halsey. Oh, I will check my Google. Sorry, I missed that.
Non-detrimental mutation. But to even say that there is, atheist, for you to say nonsense, you're going to have to tell us one example of a mutation that delivered new information that was useful to the genome and to the organism. You can't. You won't.
Melanation? Right? What do you mean useful to the genome? Nothing is useful to the genome. The genome expresses itself in such a way that it's useful to the organism.
Further, can quickly respond by environmental changes. Well, that wouldn't be a mutation. Again, the guy who called in about the moths, remember that guy? He was trying to smuggle in
melanation, yeah.
and collapse a mutation with an adaptation.
Mutations are adaptations. You don't just like randomly start sprouting new fingers or spontaneously turning black without having some environmental factor weighing in on that, right? Which is the whole thing we're talking about.
If you witness an adaptation to the environment, what that means is that the information that's informing the organism how to respond is already there.
Right, but it's a matter of which of these turn on at a specific point in time, right? And there are times when random mutation takes place and it's not necessarily advantageous, right? Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's detrimental either. This could be an indifferent type of mutation, right? That is, it's neither here nor there, right? And it just happens. But that's far less likely if there's no environmental pressure, right? It's the environmental pressure for selection that sparks more new mutations that are adaptive to the environmental stressor.
Do you understand that, atheist? This is where the atheist runs out of bullshit, is that you force them to make a distinction between what happens with an adaptation and what's required for an adaptation and what's a mutation. Because they have to kind of say it's the same. They have to say, look, there's a mutation that happened that turned the moths into a different color because of the smoke or whatever it was. No. That was the example, right? No. First of all, if there's a bunch of moths who already have a color and they're living in an area that suddenly gets overtaken by smoke that's of similar color, naturally as a consequence, they didn't adapt. It's not like they adapted to the smoke. What happened was other predators just couldn't see them as well as the white ones. Right?
What the fuck is he even talking about? Does he understand the like, this is very well established, like, that these moths were not common prior to the Industrial Revolution, right? So he's just like saying, no, I just don't believe the commonly accepted, scientific literature and, the studies that were done, decades before I was ever even, conceived, right? But I just disbelieve it, right? He's not even giving a reason for being skeptical of the claim. He's just like, nah.
They still have a high crime rate, though. Doesn't change that.
They still have a high crime rate. Clever. Captive desk. Hey, good to see you. Oh, you over there checking him out too? He's still numb. Daniel Berry, good to see you. If ever there was a reason to celebrate anything, Wednesday would be it. Yeah, especially since Wednesday is presently my day off, and nobody's asked me to work, so I haven't. Although I could be working, but yeah, no, it's a good day to have off. So, oh, I just realized I was doing the wrong thing. Sorry. Here we go. This one.
Change that. Yeah, why doesn't an atheist ever call in? They're just so safe in the chat. It's because I'm scary. I don't understand. Yeah, call in and make us understand. I just asked you a simple question, atheist. What's the difference between an adaptation to the environment and a mutation?
People don't want to talk to you, Jim Bob. I don't know if Jim Bob will ever hear this. I've never seen him on my channel before. I guess I could call into Jim Bob's one of these days. But nobody wants to talk to you because they know it's going to be a dumpster fire because you always behave like a dick. Like, it really doesn't matter who you talk to. I've never seen you have a good faith conversation with any atheist, so just point in fact.
What is the difference? Tell me in 2 sentences. What's the difference between an adaptation to the environment and a mutation? It is not possible to sin. Anybody who knows the gospel knows the truth. Only fake Christians can blaspheme. You don't know what you're talking about. You're just a modern Protestant retard. You'd get eaten.
I love that Jim Bob puts himself in such a position that he can argue against the atheist, but also any of the evangelicals who pop into his chat too. He just fucking rails on him. Anybody who doesn't immediately, like, whatever, conform to whatever principle he's hold, which I'm not entirely clear on anyway, right? But it's like, if you can agree with my criticisms, cool, but if you have any counterpoints, I'm just gonna basically treat you like shit.
eaten alive in a debate, St. Pat. It's impossible to sin. Why? Because you got a tramp stamp and said someone
Eaten alive in a debate. Okay, well, I mean, that's maybe fair. I don't know. Didn't really go over the point sufficiently.
name. Get at. It's impossible to sin. Why? Because you got a tramp stamp and said someone's name. Get out of here. I would physically remove you from the covenant community. You'd be kicked out.
It says I would physically remove you.
Yeah, he's a mess. The whole thing's a mess. He doesn't know what he's saying.
Christianity is not Origenism. I don't know if that was a typo or
Even know his view. He has to borrow views from various already debunked ancient heresies. Hey, St. Pat, have you considered reading Against Heresies? I believe it's a multi-volume dedicated source. Mutation changes genes, does it? That's an interesting statement. Adaptation changes phenotypes, okay? So if an adaptation is downstream from a gene, how do you determine whether an adaptation was downstream from a mutation?
So we got it here. It was in fact not a typo. The main principles of Origenism include allegorical interpretation of Scripture, pre-existence, and pre-subordinationism. And I just got accidentally linked into a Reddit thread, which apparently I can't read anyway, so I'm not on Reddit. Oh yeah, okay, so Scripture, pre-existence, and subordinationism. And then Origenism is condemned. The Wikipedia article refers to it as a crisis, the Origenist crisis. Two major theological controversies in early Christianity. Involving the teachings of followers and 3rd century Alexandrian theologian Origen. Oh, yeah. I forgot there's a guy named Origen, so that's why. Alright. The first Origenist crisis began in the late 4th century AD in Palestine and later spread to Egypt. It dealt with ideas discussed in some of Origen's writing that some members of the church hierarchy deemed heretical. Objections against Origen's writing and demand for his condemnation were first raised by Epiphanius of Salamis and later taken up by Jerome and Theophilus of Alexandria, who were both initially supporters of Origen's teachings. Origen's defenders included Tyrannius Rufinus and John II, Bishop of Jerusalem. What exactly is the controversy, though? It doesn't... It's showing like the periods of crisis and explaining the people who supported and condemned him, but it doesn't say specifically like what they were disagreeing with. Okay, wait. So there's a condemnation of Origen's incorporeal, non-anthropomorphic conception of God. Like, there's not like a lot of specifics here. Incorporeal and non-anthropomorphic conception of God is like the very specific thing that's said here. Huh. Alright, we'll have to look into that later.
Change versus genes that already had the capability of adapting. Tell me the difference. Because you have to assume both of those are happening to back your statements here. By the way, your first statement I wouldn't even grant.
It says mutation changes genes, adaptation changes phenotypes. Maybe. I mean, when you say it changes genes, I mean, I don't think it introduces new structures into the, or new patterns into the gene, right? So, but they're all like pre-existing. It's just a matter of which ones are switched on or off. I think. Hello. There we go.
A mutation changes the genes. How? How does duplicating what is mostly a 99% of the time just a simple erroneous duplication of existing matter? How does that change anything, dude? You tell me. No wonder you won't call in. I would eat you alive.
Because I am a cannibal. Oh shit.
Is using.
I mean to do that. Sorry. Oh, now we're having a problem. Okay, there we go.
You know, the evangelicals, both those people and their detractors are equally a problem. Like I'll follow some of these, and then I'll follow their detractors, and they're basically doing the same thing except the opposite view, but they're using the same methodology.
Sheet or get off of the cow, you filthy pig snake.
That's right.
You cowards don't call in and waste our time with your Kuma dribble. Hawk twa, I spit on you.
Hawk twa. Thank you, Vagine. Appreciate that. Yeah, I find it very cowardly.
He has a racist stereotype voice doing his chats. It's amazing.
Yeah, DYI. Yeah. Theology for dummies. Yeah, just read that and read this and read that. There you go. We got it. Phrygian.
Right, how it's always done.
I think that's what he said. Is the best mode. Are you talking Jesse Curl for that style? Because I keep moving through these styles. I thought I wanted to do gypsy jazz, and then I look at what that's doing to Chase Haggard, and I'm like, I got to stay away from that. And then that moved me into bluegrass, and then I love bluegrass, and now bluegrass, all the diddying, like, you know, diddying, that was a whole new, now I can't even say diddying for playing music. All the diddying.
I've never said diddying. Is that some old fangled terminology I've never heard of? Well, yeah, I guess you play a ditty, right? But I've never heard of it referred to as diddying. But yeah, that's interesting. But he's equating his musical like taste to his theological perspective. I don't know if it works that way. It's a little sus to
me. They ruin everything.
Actually, no, I will say, like, regardless of the content of the music, right? So I could draw an analogy there because a lot of my social and political philosophy was actually learned from artists that I listen to, right? Specifically because I pay attention to the lyrics. And if you pay attention to the lyrics and what's the content of a song, right? They contain different philosophies for lifestyle and things like that, right? And So, I mean, I could get with it along those lines. But not like, oh, I just changed my taste from, you know, rock to hip hop or something like that, right? Like, it's gonna actually involve the content of what's being said, not just the style it's being said in. So, those are two different things.
All the ditties. Can't even say ditty now. Man, that's guys, that's the real psyop. Just trying to get people just stop saying ditty. Led me just jamming around. I was like, oh, this sounds like that old style music where you're kind of like walking through this
Hey, Bree, good to see you.
stone town. So Phrygian. I'll take a look. Phrygian. Should just do covers of Nagila Hava. I hate you music. All of it. I don't like any of it. That's kind of why I have an aversion to gypsy jazz. You know, I have aversion to it. I can't quite tell you.
Fascinating.
Bagel. Hit the wheel of death. We'll give you the wheel of death. You want to talk about like that? You want to talk like that? You little Shabbos. You little Shabbos.
Yeah. He's doing that again. He's got some good voices. I give him credit where credit's due. So I filled out my ballot. Of course, I think for me the worst thing is that there's credits on excuse me, there's candidates on here who, of course, I'm aware of by name, but I haven't seen any political ads like this whole two-party thing, and it's like it's out of control. You don't hear about these candidates from the Green Party or what have you. They're not hitting on any of the major channels, and I'm subscribed to Democratic Socialists, social media and Green Party social media and stuff, and I still haven't seen any of these targeted advertisements. It's all been Democrat, Republican, straight, all the way. And I think that's one of the reasons we can't get a third party candidate elected, because most people aren't even aware of them.
The wheel of cheese. Oh, Wignac called me a Shabbos Troy for eating a bagel. That's funny. Oh yeah, like if you eat a bagel, you're a part of the game. Oh man, that position is so low. I'm so glad I probably surfed in those waters for tops 2 weeks, and I was like, maybe. Oh, I could name him. I could do that. I think it'd be fun to name him. Just spend my life naming them. Yeah, putting up charts and naming them and taking pictures of them and showing people pictures of them that they all have the same profile. And yeah, I can do that. It's based. I'm like, what? And then I learned that when you scapegoat people, you actually play into their ploy.
Hey. But I did vote for Harris Waltz, just because I don't want to waste my fucking vote, So I remember voting for Bernie a while ago, and now he's just out of the game. Oop. What is that? Alright, he's just playing with the chat. Let's see. think the stream's been running for like over 2 hours though, so what else is going on out there? Otherwise, I've got some shit. I think I stuffed some more stuff in the watch later list. Jared Juggernaut has busted 400 subs, apparently. Ooh. Uh-oh. That is not the video I intended to click on. Although reality-based is good as well. It sent me to a different video. Oh no, that is. Okay, we're gonna watch this dance off from Jared. Congratulations on the 400 subscribers.
Okay.
This guy, such a weirdo. Yeah, I first became familiar with Jared through Drunken Peasants, and I've been watching quite a bit of his content, and but he has actually. I hit replay. Did I not hit it in time? He has actually, I mean, I've seen him produce some really wacky content, and it's hard to tell if he's being like satirical or not. I think some of the shit he's saying is just off fucking hook, man. But then other times he just seems fairly normal and rational. And then being like, you know, a 40-year-old dude who lives in his dad's basement apparently or something, but then you got this. Oh. Answers and reason. Oh, did it just freeze up on me?
Right. So it's, yeah, they said, oh, we're going to have to get you a specialist to come and look at it.
So what did the X-ray say? Was there an X-ray?
When I looked at it, I could see the infection. I could see it on the screen.
Oh, yeah.
There was like a bit of a mass where one of the tooth is at the bottom.
Yeah, but they should have explained the X-ray to you, like what they found.
They said, "Oh, if you come here," well, they did. All they said was, "If you come here, and you could see like inside the tooth was like rotted away, like needs taken out." They said, "Just take it out," and it's taken out. But they couldn't do anything. They didn't do nothing. I tell you what, I don't think they knew what they were doing.
Fair. Yeah, probably not.
I said, so what am I going to do? them with the pain? Oh, just go to a chemist, they said, and see what you can get over the
That's like
counter.
a pharmacist for y'all who don't know.
I thought they might prescribe me some antibiotics, but no.
You don't say.
That's not good.
Buy them. Like painkillers aren't.
Oh, it's going sideways on me.
cheap.
No.
And a lot of
Let's see, stuff in the box. I swear I stuffed something in here. It's giving me a page unresponsive warning. So navigate away from the page. Still not. And there's number 3. I may have to close YouTube. Oh yeah. Alright. Do this the hard way. Oh, hey, good afternoon, Cher. Good to see you. Sorry, I just had YouTube freeze up on me, so I had to close it out and bring it back. Yeah, I'm just in the middle of doing housework, laundry, and dishes, and all that good stuff. So I decided I would use up some of these streaming hours and use this Wi-Fi before I have to take it back. Had a pretty eventful week, staying super busy with work and everything. I've been putting out a couple new songs. Well, not completed, but like concepts. But I'm putting those in the private group. For anybody who knows Q, has a Google chat group for musicians, and so I've been putting up the concepts of those new riffs in that group, and a couple of them are on my YouTube, my music channel, and but I've worked out about 4 new tracks, and then there's like a random jam track I threw in there. But like 4 new songs in the making. One of them might actually become a Trusty Ape song, and the other 3 are kind of like a different thing that I'm hoping to do like as a recording project and maybe expand on that. Definitely back more in the like old school punk rock vein, and a little bit more like obscure. Okay. So I reopen YouTube and it's still non-responsive. Oh, wait. We're getting it now. Okay. in the list. I'm going to remove a couple videos from here. Yeah, I've changed and rebranded the channel over at Stupid Monkey Philosophy. Is now called Answers in Stoicism, and put out a couple new videos over there talking about the philosopher Seneca and his life and teachings. And so I still have one more of those to do. Might do that tonight or tomorrow, depending on availability. We kind of left off in the middle of an extensive article on his philosophical teachings. But something, seems as productive as I need to do. I've been rereading Bertrand Russell's History of Western Philosophy as well, so that's been kind of enlightening. In short form, Russell kind of explained in there how, in a way, I'm probably misunderstanding Kant's metaphysics in a pretty common way, and also why I gravitate so much towards like somebody like David Hume, who rejected metaphysics as I have historically, and so it just makes sense, right? But maybe suggesting also that I need to go back and reread Kant, which of course I still have in my library, so never hurts. Good afternoon, Christian Carpenter. Good to see you. So I believe I saved these for some reason. I don't know, should we put it to a vote? Should we do a AIG, End Time Teacher, or a Bible Geek? John, good to see you. Breaker 19, here's the rubber duck. Seriously. All my silly geese say honk. See if we have the bandwidth. It was working pretty well for Jim Bob's Live, and now Wi-Fi is giving me some trouble, so. But hey, 45 minutes in, whatever. It's whatever. Alright, any votes inside chat? See no votes. Vote 1 for Bible Geek, 2 for End Times Teacher, 3 for Answers in Genesis. Or I'll pick one at random here, or as random as I can be. Sure, that's awesome. I had a great book on Norse mythology, which I unfortunately think I lost in the Great Fire of 2021, 2022. But yeah, there's definitely some interesting stuff in there. If this video loads up. If it doesn't, I don't know. Maybe another says my Wi-Fi is solid, but we're getting the spiral of death from YouTube. If this doesn't work, I'll probably just try to go record some more music. Oh, screen has changed. Something's happened. Okay, it just shifted between videos, so it is random. Because I clicked more than once. Are we gonna do it? Is it gonna work?
Stream. Figured I'd do one a little early today. The area I'm in today lost power for maybe the last 2.5 hours, 3 hours tops, something like that. So, not a whole lot to do right now, you know what I'm saying? So, figured I'd just go live, whatever comes to mind. I'll just
Did it work? Did it freeze? It's frozen. We're very patient here. Very stoic.
just bring up. So, one of the things that happened, right? One of the things I wanted to mention when I went live next is the other day, this dude
I haven't
called
talked to
himself
Nephilim
Nephilim.
Free in a long time. I have had a few fairly long conversations with Nephilim Free, though.
Did Christian YouTubers or whatnot? I give the guy credit though because he does a good job on what's his channel, Modern Day Debate. You can look him up. Bring people on to have discussions about whatever and anything like that. You can look him up. But I've seen this guy on there multiple times. Does a pretty good job in discussions. But I saw he was doing a live stream, which is pretty rare. I'm subscribed to his channel. But as far as I remember, I don't ever, I don't ever see the dude do a live stream. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh shit, dude's live.
Yeah, Nephi used to live stream a lot, but I think he's more on Discord these days or something, and doing debates publicly. Like he used to live stream big, like he'd do long streams. Those are the types that I would jump into.
Maybe I should click the link and see how the conversation goes. And excuse the loud noise. I'm walking by some traffic right now. Hell, this is as Galapagos said, right? This is a walk and talk. It's been a while since
what null avoid means to say there is new to the game. It's old to the game. It's new to the game.
One of them. But yeah, I joined this dude for a conversation, maybe about 50 minutes, maybe hour tops. And it was a reasonable conversation, but you could tell this guy, he's as they would say, a paper tiger, right? insignificant, peons that, a scholar like truly see the true colors under his skin, if you get what I'm saying.
No, and the thing with Nephilim for you, and I've seen this before, he would do, pretty respectful, civil conversations with people, but then he would go back and blast them later, right? Like on other streams when they weren't present, But all in all, he's, seems pleasant to talk to. It's just not till later that he talks shit behind your back, Trump on breastfeeding mothers, you're disgusting. What? ETT is the take it easy little buddy guy? Like it's the same guy? Or you're just saying like, is that him doing a character? Yeah, I don't know. That dude seemed legit.
You can clearly see that he doesn't really know what's going on, right? He's a paper tiger, right? Meaning he looks pretty strong, right? Looks pretty knowledgeable. But then when you have a conversation with him, you quickly find out that the dude doesn't know what the hell is going on. So which I won't spoil the whole conversation, right? Because the video's not yet posted publicly. So I'm not going to spoil the whole conversation. Excuse the music in the background. But shit, hey, that bears testament to how America's Babylon, man. There's too much shit going on right now. You got and this place never rests, man. You can literally come out here at damn, 1 o'clock in the morning, and the people still be, out driving around, partying on the streets, shit like that. Right? That's why this place is called Babylon. Babylon means confusion. Right? That's what America is. First of all, the word America means bitter, if you look it up. Right? So yeah, this place is Babylon. Right? This place is utter confusion. Right? This is a place where, you got grown men that think of their little kids. Literally got 30s out here, dressed up as, damn dogs and shit, going out for walks. Again, it's hilarious. But, this is what's going on out here. Then you got.
Is that really what's going on out here? Is it?
Simple-minded, brain-dead peons like professing preterists and, idiots like that who would tell you that, all nations are obedient to Christ today, right? Christ is ruling and all nations are in obedience to him. What the hell are y'all talking about? All nations are in obedience. I mean, y'all must be having a smoke, right? Y'all must be smoking crack is what y'all must be doing, man.
You must be smoking crack.
Shit, just keeping it nice, right? Keeping it PG. I could say a whole lot of other things, but we'll just keep it family friendly. Inside joke.
Is that Trump on his fans? I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose voters. I remember that. And Trump on Megyn Kelly. You could see there was bloody coming out of her eyes, blood coming out of her wherever. Trump on appropriate things to say. Hurricane survivors. What a crowd. What a turnout. Oh, you thought he was the guy? No, that dude was... he sounded Latino. At least that was... he could have been playing it. There's no place like home. You see, he's just smoking weed here? No, you must be on crack. End Times teacher says you're high on crack. He's still got Tog's comment on there. That's hilarious.
You know, but again, it's a damn embarrassment, some of these idiots. You know, again, one thing I always say is most people that are on YouTube trying to teach the Bible are not really qualified to teach the Bible. And you can quickly find that out. You can quickly find out if somebody's like, knowledgeable and actually reads their Bible by having like a 5-minute, conversation with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll give you an example, right? Yesterday, I called into a new platform I found. I believe this cat's name was something like Woofy's Lodge or something like that. They were actually pretty friendly to me. But, a whole lot of people on there don't really know, ain't too bright, right? They're not the brightest bulb in the box, if you get what I'm saying. So I was on there. And, just to keep it very simple, one of the basics somebody brought up was John 3:16, right? I asked about, if everybody in here thinks they know the Bible, could you show me like book, chapter, verse where God says that he loves everybody? That was the question. And then I already saw it coming from a mile away. Hell, I seen it. I could have predicted it before I even joined for the conversation, right? Of course, somebody brought up John 3:16. And then, when I go to respond, they don't want to hear the response, right? A bunch of brain dead zombies don't understand that words have context to them, right? And the context in which the words are used,
the words derive their meaning from
Here, bear with me a second. So it was just laughable to me how I don't even know what to say, to be quite honest. It's really an embarrassment. You would think that people on there would be capable of having some reasoning. You know what I'm saying? And it was funny because after they found out I was only 21, they were like, "Oh shit, this guy's on a level." Because everybody else on there was in their late 40s, early 60s, something like that. So once they found out that I was like, what, under half of their age even, they were like, "Oh man, this guy knows some stuff." But I was keeping it. I was joking around with him. I was like, "Hey, look, I'm keeping it elementary. I'm keeping it elementary, if y'all please." A lot of cats are not really capable of getting the deep stuff. That's why when you read Paul's writings, he spoke about how that he feeds them with the milk, right? Because they're not really ready for the meat. Meaning that the meat being like the harder to understand parts of the scriptures, right, and the milk being like the basics. And I see comments coming in. I'll address y'all in a couple minutes.
I'll address y'all in a couple minutes. I'm only 21. What? Crack his whack. Trump on his body. My fingers are long and beautiful. As it has been well documented are various other parts of my body. Y'all getting crazy over here. Girls Army. Alright, I'll be back in like 2.5 minutes. I gotta grab the laundry. I'll leave this video playing.
I was going down the river over here. You know, it's funny. People on the entire other side of the river at like a bar they got over there, and you can hear them. They can hear their music all the way across the river. They're like, what? Probably like 600 or 700 feet over there. Hopefully, audio can't pick it up or whatever. Yeah, no on void. How you doing? He said, "Bro, you're so old to the game." Yeah, man, I'm. I've been in it for a long time, man. Again, I've been in the truth for going on 10 years. In like what? So, you know, I'm definitely not some new dude to it to learn as well. No, because if you ask me, I'll tell you, I'm still learning. I certainly don't have all the answers, but shit, I'll tell you what, I certainly have more of the answers than some of these peons like Perry Green. That dude said he's only been reading the Bible since 2020. Say shit, 2020, man, that feels like yesterday. And that was almost 5 years ago, but it feels like yesterday, man. So you somehow apparently are like he knows it all, right? He knows every verse and he cannot sin apparently, but yet he's only been reading the Bible for like 4 years. You know what I'm saying? It's hilarious. Bruce Trooper said we need more StreamYard streams. They're entertaining. Hey man, you know I do what I can with what I got. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I certainly intend on doing more in the future. But for those of y'all listening who don't use StreamYard, you should know that there's a 20-hour a month limit unless you pay for the service, which is like $20 a month. But if you want to use the free version, you only get 20 hours for like 30 days. You know, so you got to space it out, which I do a good job doing that. I've been doing that for a whole number of years. But it's not, free 24/7 unless you pay for it. Just to let people know that.
Interesting. Alright, 10 minutes. What do you think? We gonna keep listening to this asshole? Trump knows how mean those girls are. Trump on marriage. I would never buy Ivana any decent jewels or pictures. Why give her negotiable assets? Prenuptial agreements, fool. Alright, okay. Here we go. So, are you voting for Trump? Nope, I already voted for Kamala. My ballot is filled out and ready to go. Filled out and ready to go.
Let me see. Bear with me a second. Yeah. Yeah, Rudy. You're right. Rudy said these old cats are barely questioning anything when they had all that time. Right. Some of these dudes, like I'll give you an example, right? Like I was talking to Bro, okay, these cats are not on much of a level. You know, it's like shit. One of the cats on there, he didn't even know the basics behind the Big Bang belief that he full-heartedly believes in. It's like shit. You're in your 60s and you believe this since like what, sixth grade, and you don't even know the basics behind it. Damn, that's embarrassing, man. But shit, you know, it's not like I expect the dude to know like the distance of the stars or, you know, the age of the universe. Even though some of those things are elementary level, I don't expect him to know that. But it's like shit, you know, if you believe in this quote unquote origin of the universe, you should at least know some basics behind it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why would you believe in something you know nothing about? It's retarded. It makes no sense. Yeah, man. I see them all the time, man. I've seen a couple of them as I was walking down to my location, right? And, you know, sometimes it's, you know, especially where I'm at, you know, a lot of poor people in this area. You know, so someone stops you and asks for a couple bucks, you know, you give it to them.
See, crackheads,
for
so
multiple
you're just
reasons.
saying
For
like all homeless people are on crack?
one, we're supposed to according to the scriptures, and then two, you know, hey, you don't know what people got, man. You know, so sometimes it might just be good to give them $2 so they leave you alone and go to the next guy.
Did I real vote for her, Kamala? Yes. Concept of global warming was created by and for the Chinese in order to make U.S. manufacturing non-competitive. Who's that quote from? That in quotation. Global warming is a concept. Touche.
Yeah, Rudy. Rudy said 2020 feels like last week. Yeah, you're right, man. It does feel like it was last week, right? But it's already been, you know, just about 5 years now. You know, but it does feel like it was, you know, last week. Let me see. Yeah. How you doing, John? How you doing? I mean, the cat down there. I mean, hey, look, man, I would drop a link for you, but I don't think you'd hop up on it. You know, just like Deacon said, right? Everybody wants to talk smack. But then once you drop that link for people to join and have a conversation, people don't want to do that. You know, and that's sad. You know, it's like, you know, some of these dudes on here, you know, just like Deacon said, right? Everybody wants to talk smack. But then once you drop that link for people to join and have a conversation, people don't want to do that. You know, and that's sad. You know, it's like, you know, some of these dudes on here need to grow a pair of balls. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if you're going to run your mouth in the comments, you should be man enough to click the link and defend what you believe. You know
what's that,
what I'm saying?
It's that
Like,
Betty
hey, Muslims are doing
White quote where she says, people always say you should grow a pair of balls, but why would you do that? Like, balls are soft and fragile. If you want people to be tough, tell them to grow a vagina, because those things can take a pounding. I love that one.
Right? It's like, so what about some of y'all Christians or atheists? Like, why are y'all not doing it? That's embarrassing right there, at least in my opinion. Yeah, GTF, there is such a thing. I mean, what is this thing that these people are? Oh shit, it's on the tip of my tongue. It'll come back to me. Oh, Flocka, right? Flocka? You can look it up. Don't use it though. But yeah, people, you know, be out here turning into, you know, literally brain dead zombies. And then, you know, they're using over in like Philadelphia, like an hour from here. There's what's this place? Kensington Avenue. You can look it up on YouTube, right? There's people literally making money, like literally making thousands of dollars a month off of just rolling through there, driving through there, and documenting the people that are, you know, they're suffering. You know, it's sad, but at least you get to see what's going on over there. Something called Trank, which is, you know, drug substance mixed with horse tranquilizer fluid, right? That's what people are using over there, man, right? Literally standing there, you know, half dead, Again, it's crazy what's going on, right? Hey, well, all I can say, at least for me myself, man, I've never, used any type of drug substances in my life, and that's something to be proud about. I know most of my
Drug
people my age,
substances.
can't say that. Now, I will say though, I have had, I did have a
It's
couple cigarettes though.
fascinating. He's never
I'm talking
used any drug substances, but he did have a couple of cigarettes, though. Very kosher man.
like maybe 3 or 4, right? So not even half a pack. But, other than that, I don't really, use any of that stuff. But I have had 4 of them before. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, none of the other stuff. Like these whole vapes that people are using. It's like shit. There was none of this stuff. Just like 5-6 years ago, none of this stuff was out. There ain't no vapes back then. All the stuff came out within the last couple of years.
5-6 years? Vapes have been out for a while. They weren't as popular. They've grown a lot in popularity. But vapes been out for at least 10 years, as far as I know.
John said, I believe everyone should prep a bit. Yeah, man, I hear you. Hey, look, I talk about prep sometimes on my page. It's an important thing to do, but what you want to do is you want to be, as they would say in the prepping community, a gray man, which what that means is that you fit in with everybody, right? Like nothing about you sticks out. Like say, for instance, if I go downtown, everybody that sees me will think that I'm just a regular, Joe, right? I got nothing going on, but none of them know that I have like 6 months worth of food at home and, with a couple thousand rounds.
He's a prepper. He's a prepper. I think we're sticking with this now. I was thinking about switching it, but after I heard that, I was like, the rabbit hole doth get deeper.
And nuclear protection. I'm not going to get into the details, but stuff like that. People won't know that you have these plans and stuff, put aside for the future. And some people out here, like some preppers, they're not smart, right? Like some of these dudes, when they go out in public, they dress up like in military attire, and have a firearm at their side, or swung across their back. You stick out like a sore thumb like that, right? That's how you let people know that that you got something going on, right? They need to pay attention to you. Hell, if people know where you're at, now they know who to target when SHTF happens, because you got the goodies, right? You got the weapons, you got the food, all that stuff. People will know who to target then, right? But if you're a gray man, right, you don't let people know your business, and you don't.
That's a shit hitting the fan. That's what that is. You didn't know that acronym.
You don't look like anything special, then nobody's going to mess with you. That's just called being smart. And a lot of people just lack those critical thinking skills. Let me see. A lot of comments coming in. I'll try to respond to what I can. Yeah, Rudy said, I used to smoke pack after pack at 15. Big regret. Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. Though I will say this, though, right? I do think that it doesn't make sense on how people are restricted from buying these type of products till they're 21. That doesn't make sense. Now, for the record, I don't think anybody in general should be smoking or, vaping or stuff like that. But to say that people should not be allowed to do it till they're 21, that's ridiculous. Like, I know people who did it when they're 16. It's funny because apparently everybody accepts at 16 you're capable of driving a car that can literally take multiple people's lives. But magically, that same person's not responsible enough to smoke cigarettes. That's retarded. That's stupid. And again, of course, I don't think anybody in general.
Well, I think there's science behind that to say that like your brain's not fully developed up to a certain age, and that's like your early mid-20s, right? And your brain's not fully developed, your body isn't even actually technically fully developed, and so like habituation is more likely to form in those like early teenage years when you're really hormonal and all that shit, and your brain's not fully adjusted, and so they're trying to restrict more things until you're in your 20s. Now they're not like, I don't think they're necessarily consistent across the board, but people also innately take more responsibility overall for things like that. So, like, greater responsibilities that are like life threatening, like driving, usually. But I don't know, there's more recklessness too. So if you think about it, like, more kids are going to get like wet and reckless or DUIs overall. Sure said, I smoked out of a vape pen in 2016. Yeah, so it's like almost 10 years ago. And 1,000 rounds is a lot, yes.
General should smoke, but if they are going to do it, it doesn't make logical sense to tell them you have to be this arbitrary number before you do it. That's retarded. Makes no logical sense. But people just don't think. Like, I'll give you an example, right? A lot of people just go along to get along. Like, if you remember a couple years back in 2018, that's when Donald Trump changed the law about how you had to be 21 to buy the tobacco products and stuff like that. But you used to only have to be 18. And I don't even know how long it's been 18 for. I'd have to do a search on that. But a hell of a long time, right? But magically, everybody all of a sudden did a complete 360. And now if they see somebody that's 18 who smokes, they'll think, oh, well, that's an irresponsible person because that's illegal. But magically, the same dumbass just 5 or 6 years ago, they saw an 18-year-old smoke. They'd be like, oh, well, that's just an adult expressing their freedom. Right, so it shows that people are brainwashed, and you can change their perception of reality.
So now I think there is some like major issue of concern where if you're old enough for military service, if you're old enough to go into a position where you're putting your life on the line for your country, or like even to be a public servant or a police officer, right? Like, because you could do that. If you're old enough to do that, then you should be given. Now, I don't necessarily think that 18 is the appropriate age, right? Because you can go into military service at 18. But technically you can't drink till you're 21, right? So you either have to raise the standard across the board, right? Or, I don't know. But I think that's like a fundamental hypocrisy.
With only a couple short years of indoctrination. And it's clear, it's undeniable. Let me see. JDF said Perry smokes millions of cigarettes.
And just to point out a fact that I think is a fact of human nature, like, anytime you introduce a prohibition onto something, like, the more you stress to kids that they're not allowed to do certain things, more and more rebellious teenagers are going to try to do them anyway, and they're going to find means to black market those things. Like, that's just inevitable. So, to kind of realize that and take it into account. Yeah, anything that you specifically prohibit, more people are going to try to do it in spite of it.
Yeah. It's a damn shame, man. I was watching when, that cat did a video about me maybe 2 or 3 nights ago. And they brought Nick up on there. I was like, oh shit, Nick. I thought these dudes were enemies because Nick just did like a 4 or 5 hour stream on Perry a couple of days before that, right? So I thought these guys were still enemies. But apparently, it was sad. Perry admitted to beating his wife. Had his little 7-year-old come on stream and curse at Nick. It's terrible, right? But this guy is a true man of God, right? He doesn't sin, right? Remember that. That man, he doesn't sin. He beats his wife. He has his little 5-year-old kid's curse, but he doesn't sin though, right? Come on. It's like only the brain dead would believe it. That's a true man of God. And there's people on there who believe it. Like you had two dummies on there who literally went down to this dude's house. Like one dude, forget the dude's name, I believe it was Tim or something. The dude literally flew across the world from like, what was it, London or something? Flew down to whatever state Perry's in and was there for like his lessons or whatever garbage they're talking about, right? And Perry said something along the lines that was like, what, $1,700 for the round trip or something like that? Right there to here and then back. Right, $1,700. Like shit, $1,700. It's like, what does it accomplish? This guy just coming out for, a couple days just to sit there, say one or two words on live stream and then fly back home, right? It's like, what does that accomplish exactly? Like, I don't get it. What does that accomplish? These dummies have no clue. Let me see. What do you? Either this guy's a troll camp, or he's just somebody who is brainwashed.
You don't believe in the blood of Jesus.
Stream. I think I did one a little early today.
Uh-oh.
The area I'm in today lost power for maybe the last 2.5 hours, 3 hours tops. Something like that.
It's not what we meant to do. We were trying to do this.
Not taking a stand on the age of the earth is actually where do you fit the millions of years? Christians are not paying careful attention. Or they don't know the evolutionary story. In the church today, we've got a lot of different views.
Oh yeah, that's right. Hold on, I still got the speed up. I was like, this guy's talking really fast. He was talking somewhat fast, but turn the playback speed back to normal.
About Genesis, particularly Genesis 1. They all have a different way of interpreting Genesis, but they all have one thing in common. They all accept the millions of years, but most of them haven't really thought carefully that the millions of years is filled with death and disease and suffering. Well, today we want to talk about, did God create over millions of years? How many of you have ever seen that?
Did God create over millions of years? They call that one the, oh, I can't remember what they call it now. Like the one where he evolves into a dude with a guitar. No, he's gone and done it.
Seen that picture before, or something like it. Yeah, the evolutionists love to use this to convince us that we evolved from some ape-like creature over millions of years. But that's only one part of the evolutionary story. Because the evolutionists believe in what they call the evolution tree of life, that all the different plants, animals, and people that have ever lived on this planet and alive today are descended from a common ancestor, the first microscopic, little tiny bacterium-like creature that popped
That's fairly accurate. Yeah. Not far off the mark.
into existence in the primordial oceans about 3.5 billion years ago. That is often called biological evolution. But evolution is more than just a description for the origin of living things.
Someone doesn't want to play well.
Evolution is really a three-part theory to explain all of reality. So you have biological evolution.
Calm down. Buffering quite a bit. So, no, there are, but I see where he's going here. There are other theories of evolution, like is it called astronomical evolution, or he'll probably list it here. But there's like the theory of like cosmic evolution, and then there's biological evolution, and then I think sociological, right? It's like various evolutionary theories, basically just talking about like a progression of life and stuff.
To explain the origin of living things. You have geological evolution to explain the origin of the Earth and the rock layers and fossils and the topography of the Earth. And then you have cosmological evolution to explain the origin of stars and galaxies, and not taking a stand on the age of the Earth.
Then it expands like inwardly.
Is actually taking a stand on the age of the Earth. But secondly, in one of Dr. Grudem's chapters, he clearly advocates for an old Earth view, and there is a whole chapter written by a philosopher arguing for an old Earth view to deal with the problem of evil. So the book actually does indirectly deal with the age of the Earth, but in a wrong way. So most of the authors contributing that book believe in millions of years, and they're all
professing Christians.
Professing Christians. So
is the code to the last video.
The question is, where do you fit?
I can get you that. Yep. World events, fake Christians life unit. That's the one. Yeah, if I recall correctly, he's a Hebrew Israelite. Or even a black Hebrew Israelite, I'm not sure.
fit the millions of years. And over the years, over the last 200 years, there have been 4 different ways that people have tried to harmonize millions of years with the Bible. Nobody tries to put those millions of years between us and Adam, because that would make the genealogies in Genesis 5 and 11 totally absurd. So everybody tries to fit those millions of years before Adam in Genesis 1. And one way is to spread those millions of years over the days
I've heard this theory.
Days of Genesis,
so yeah,
which they
it's
say
like something like each day is like a million years, or yeah, something like that. Each day.
are not literal days, they're figurative of long periods of time. Others say, well, the days were literal, but there's an unknown amount of time and a large quantity of time between each of those literal days. So God did something special on the first day, and then they never define what they mean by
So you
something
he
special,
started, you
but
know, the process is like the first day, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna take a break for a while. He came back and he's like, okay, I'm gonna do the second day now, and he's gonna take a break for a while. All right.
then things unfolded until the next literal day when God did something special again, and this happened over many, many millions of years.
Oh, this is fun.
No one thought this could be done.
That's Gavin
It's Gavin
Newsom signing the strongest rent control law in America. But Prop 33
rent control bitches.
repeals key portions of California's historic law, making the housing crisis even worse. 33 makes
Whoa, buddy.
rental housing harder to find, eliminating existing protections for seniors and veterans.
Say it ain't
And
so.
33 stops new affordable and middle-class housing. Gavin Newsom and housing experts agree. We can't afford to go backward on housing. No, on 33.
I vote no on 33. Let me check my ballot.
If you have a child, 12 or older, and you like for them to get into the best university possible, I have something very discover the 3 key factors that can increase
Others say, well, no, the days are literal, but there are no gaps between the days. But they say the first day doesn't begin in verse 1 of Genesis 1. It begins in verse 3 when God said, let there be light. So there's an unknown amount of time and a long period of time between the first verse and the third verse.
So quite interesting. So if I look at, let's see, text, California, Prop 33, don't be fooled. Analysis of measure. I'll put this in here. Mikey. Could you come on camera for me? If you would. Oh. It's that Mikey. Alright, cool. Alright, you don't have to stay on camera if you don't want to. Just wanted to make sure.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, and you changed your name. You're Monkey Man now, man. Come on, Kevin.
Yeah. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing great. How you doing, brother?
Doing alright.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I'm taking a week off because our friend, my one of my best friends from school, Larry lost his mom this past weekend. So now both his parents are gone. So, I just decided not to do any streams of my own, and I did just one webcam last night because I just want to let people know what's going on, bring them up to date on our channel and things that are happening, and so a lot going down. So like I said, I just got in. So what are we looking at here?
I'm sorry
You've
to hear
got
about your that loss of your friend.
Yeah, yeah. It's been a tough 72 hours. I'll tell you. Yeah, but last night was nice. My friend called me, and then my brother got on the phone, and then my another friend of mine who I hadn't seen in like forever and hadn't heard from in like a while also got on the phone. So my brother and I and my friend Larry and my other friend James, the four of us had a multi-call thing on our cell phones. So we were talking to each other last night. I was on it for like 2 hours. So it's crazy.
Got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds crazy, man.
It is. It's been crazy. Yeah, it's been crazy. I just saw that you were on here. Earlier, Gorilla was like talking to you, but I know he's working, so I know he couldn't come up. And then I was waiting for Suzanne to get home because she brought home some food. She brought home some lunch and some extra what do you call it? Groceries. so so did all that stuff earlier. Yeah. Then I was watching this one film. Uh, we managed to get Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. So now we've seen all 10 of them now. All the different movies and stuff.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I love that series. Yeah.
Oh, me too, man.
And I think they did good on the modernized ones too. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well,
So basically, I was just hanging out and watching some. I was just hanging out and watching some videos here, and then I saw an ad on this proposition we have going on here, a rent control issue, and I'm looking at my ballot because my ballot's right here.
Yeah. So that's your current ballot. I spoke to a friend of mine, still that lives in Arizona, my friend Larry, and he said, "Yeah, I just got my ballot measures in the mail." I said, "Dude, is it? I gotta show this. My hands here. So it's about like this much, about like that." He says, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah, but like so much you got to vote on." And I said, "Oh my God, I don't have to vote in my state anymore." Those things were so hard to fill out. And then they want you to vote on judges, right? So our ballot in Arizona, we had judges, we had propositions, we had bills, who'd you vote for president, blah, 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 who were you voting for governor, so on and so forth. You know, it's almost like a freaking book, you know. It has all of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
different
I think
things in there.
We kind of break it up here, so there's various elections like throughout the year, so you don't like do it all at once. Um, but yeah, with like judges and stuff like that, I usually uh, will go along, like certain lines as far as um, their stance on like reform and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Someone I knew who, yeah, yeah, I just want to mention somebody who I knew or know that lives in the inner coast, right, of California. The Central Coast, I guess they call it. It's not like actually, near the Pacific Ocean, but it's kind of inland. And so with the inland coast, um, he still lives with his folks. And I said, yeah, but dude, I mean, you're 28 years old. Why can't, he says, I can't afford to live on my own. And then I look at all of the rental increases and for like, apartments and even lower income housing. And I'm like, there's no wonder. I mean, California has one of the highest, rental, uh, amounts of a lot of the states actually in the United States. So it doesn't surprise me.
yeah, um, yeah. And we have like it's crazy. Like in certain areas, just you can pay, you know, like well, this one says more than 50%. Oh no, this is 50% more for housing. But I was gonna say like more than 50% of your income, like your average income. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's included in here, but
Well, if you try to get an apartment in Arizona where I used to live, you have to be supporting yourself with at least three incomes.
yeah.
At least three.
And they
And
have that.
it,
They have a rule too where you have to be able to make 3 times your rental amount. Whatever.
right.
So you're
You
supposed
gotta
to be
you gotta
making
make
3 times
more.
that. But
Sure. Yeah, you gotta make more than what you were actually making. And I said, there's no freaking way. It's like when I was with Suzanne, we were still in my older apartment back in Scottsdale, Arizona, and I was already working two jobs and middle income jobs, and I mean I was doing pretty well. I was making good money, and we had Suzanne has a disability payment that she makes each month, and so that helped add to my total income of two jobs. So we basically had three incomes. But then, even after that, they raised my rent on my apartment and said, nope, you gotta work at least three jobs, maybe four. And I said, but we're already making three incomes. How is it that we have to pay more? And it's just because of the location. It was the apartment complex we were living in the location where we're at. Northeast Scottsdale is pretty expensive to live in as it is when it comes to homes. But when you have your own apartment, it's like even, it seems like you're paying more rather than what you're paying on a house, from like mortgage payments and stuff. So it's nuts, man. It is totally screwy. And I can see why, California's the same way. It would be impossible to live there anywhere.
yeah. Well, I guess some of these, a lot of these tech people are making it work, and they're also raising the prices for everybody else because the market's like more competitive because we have that concentration of those people. But
Yeah.
it makes it difficult for just other regular working class people. And hey, Silver Wolf, good to see you in the chat.
Oh, hey, there's Ash. Hi, Ash. Yeah, she told me she doesn't mind if I just say part of her name and not like the whole name. So sometimes I say Ash, sometimes I say Viking. It's cool. Yeah, I haven't seen you in a while, Viking.
Oh,
I hope everything in Boston's okay, you and your mom and and so forth, all your friends.
yeah, she's Silver in my phone. We were texting last night. I was over there My
Oh,
son, he
cool.
said, "Oh, that's silver." 'Cause you see my text messages, so it's like,
Yep, it's the same with me. Yeah, he's liver. Yeah, I don't want to mention there was something that happened with me and her channel. I won't say what it was, but at least we're still friends on Facebook. So,
oh yeah, got you.
oh,
Well,
that's
sometimes
interesting.
these things.
I just got a message from my brother Jay Aldrich. He said Liam Payne of One Direction died at age 31, reports say. Interesting.
Oh, I think I've heard of that group. Yeah, it's like a boy band from the UK or something.
Yeah, that's right. And that's weird. Yeah, he just said that Liam Payne died. Weird. Yeah, another crazy loss. Yeah.
Wow, man.
So now what is okay, so now we're looking at Proposition 33. And it says it expands local government's authority to enact rent control on residential property initiative statute. Dude, I'm ignorant. What the hell does that mean? I, what does that mean? Does that mean they can just make any type of rent increase, or all they're doing all they're, it looks like the
Essentially,
background all they're doing is, yeah. I mean, how well, you share rent with your friends, don't you?
yeah, we have to we share a place, but it is a I rent from the homeowner, so we don't have I mean, I pay directly to my landlord, you know.
Okay. And well, you don't have to say how many people you share the place with, but it's substantial enough that you're able to make the payments and be able to comfortably live, right?
Well, yeah, I mean more or less, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
So
I mean
let's
we're so
see.
I could just say I'd say we're three single adults here, but like there's three whole families living in the home next door, you know what I mean, with the parents and the kids and everything. So who knows how
Wow.
they work that out, but
I don't know how they work that out. I'm sure the kids help with, like, um oh, what do they call it? Like a newspaper route, or maybe some other little ways they raise money. I don't know. I
yeah.
can't say for them. Yeah. You know what Suzanne and I, we live in basically what they consider a bachelor style apartment, but we do have, but it's large enough to fit, just because it's just the two of us and our two cats, and our cats, aren't that big, so they can jump around, and they're great pest control. They take care of any mice that might try to get into our apartment, because this apartment complex we live in is over, at least over 35 years old. I mean, it's been here since the 70s, and it used to be a medical facility, like a hospice, kind of like a senior living facility, senior homes, or senior apartments. And so after that was done away with, they changed our complex into single low income housing. So that's where we stand. But I mean, we live on disability. That's, we're lucky, we're blessed. We live on disability. We get so much a month, and we take care of our phone bills. I think, we only have, one phone for, free unlimited texting and long distance, and then the other phone type bill is just for the internet, just for connection. And then you know I just got a nice decent computer, because my other one's gone, thank God. And so, I only make minimum payments on this, which will probably only last less than 2 years. And then yeah, I guess that's it, because everything else is paid for. It's, I won't say how much our rent is a month, but the rent is inclusive with you know with hydro, and they call it Toronto Hydro. So it includes, the water, the sewer, uh, trash. It includes electricity. It's all inclusive. Everything is put into your rent each month. Your disability rent. Dude, I seriously think you should move up here and be with us. You could
Nice,
easily afford. Yeah, I'm not kidding. You could
nice.
easily afford one of our single apartment places here. There's even a few, one or two bedrooms also, for small families.
Yeah, well, I mean, one thing is I have been, reconnected with my son over the past few weeks, so that's been a kind of a geographical issue with me staying here because it's pretty close to him, and so I've still got that in mind, but yeah, now it's become more of a reality.
Right. I no, I totally understand, dude. It's important to be close to your son. I totally get that.
Yeah. So he's growing up, he's a young man now, so all new
How old is he, if you don't
issues
mind me
coming up with
asking?
that. He's 13.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a proud moment. That's a key decision making time for him when they turned 13. I know it was for me because I really had to start thinking about what my future was going to be like and what I wanted to do. And I think my parents wanted to guide me that through most of it until I turned 18, and then I basically was on my own after 18 for most of the time. But I don't know. I don't think I could have. I don't think I handled it too well. I mean, I did okay. I did complete college to some extent, but I found my niche in business, and I wanted to work, with others because I could. Customer service is my life, and it was. And I'm proud to say I did it for like 35 years of my life. From when I was 17 until I turned 52, and now I'm 59. So I've been pleasantly and happily retired for the last 7 years, and living a good life here in Canada. So
Yeah, I definitely wanted to obtain, like dual citizenship, especially when Trump got elected. But unfortunately, I just didn't have the opportunity to get that done. Like I needed
mm,
at least a job offer or something over there.
yeah.
Um,
That's what my mother wants me to do. I'm not sure so much about my dad, but I do know my mother is still wanting me to do dual citizenship. And for right now, because of this dreaded, the COVID thing, um, am I still allowed to say that, or am I kind of restricted?
no, I think we're pretty safe as long as you aren't. Yeah, I mean, go further than that.
Yeah,
Just
no, but I mean, just the whole disease thing just kind of really screwed things up as far as like government offices. So now
yeah.
they don't trust you to come into an office and talk to a um what do you call it, a legal immigration officer, like that, to become a actual citizen. So they want you to fill out information over the internet, which nowadays is a it's a toss up because people could hack your shit. They could take all your personal information. I don't have that much, so I'm not really that worried about how I'd be affected if I would be hacked, but I know my wife Suzanne it would be worse for her if she got hacked.
Well,
So
I
I
know like one upgrade we have here. Anytime I go on a government website now on my phone when I'm trying to like do any official government business, they have this thing now where you have to use facial recognition software to log into it, and so
yes,
they link you to this other site where you have to do like a full face capture. And I thought it was just the
right,
craziest thing. They just started doing that this year or something.
right, and then I did uphold, well, the policies before everything went to crap. And I think some of those policies still applies. When I crossed over from at the Canadian border, to go into Canada, I did it over in the state of Idaho. I went from the tip of Idaho right into British Columbia. And my wife had a previous restriction when she went to visit me and my folks in the United States. But then that restriction was unwarranted. So when we crossed over, the border guard there in Canada, or the Canadian border guard, basically took a restriction. I'll said, here, we'll just give that back to the Americans. They can have that piece of crap. Because it was crap. It was just a blatant uh, violation. But you know what? Because he was a Canadian border guard, he didn't really care. He just said, "Yeah, we'll just throw it back to the Americans on the other side." What the fuck? Who cares what
Yeah.
they want? So that's basically that was his attitude, and I was like, "Well, that's cool." Now he told me, well, this is what he tells me when I'm crossing over. I said, "Look, I am moving to Canada. This is my wife. I'm going to be moving here permanently to be with her." He says, okay, well, there's two things you got to remember. First of all, for the first 6 months that you're in the country, you cannot apply for a job. So you can't work and you can't go to school. You can't take courses at any university or college or whatever. I said, no problem. I'm not planning on doing that. He says, okay, so when you reach the 6 month period, then talk to someone and see if it can be, how do you get into um, how you get into the citizenship part of it. I said, okay, no problem. Well, unfortunately, 6 months later, after went through the 6 month period, that's when the dreaded disease started hitting people, and it hit both of us in 2020. My wife caught it first, and then I caught it after her, and we almost died. So, we had to get, all the medicines and everything. Luckily for us, which is free, because it's on her plan, it's on her disability. And since we're married officially, we can both share it. So that's the blessing there. But then I asked, well, can I now apply for citizenship? They said, well, now you've passed the 6 month period, but it was like they were having me go through hoops. So then they said, okay, so what you need to do is for 3 years, you need to stay out of trouble, and you can still enjoy some benefits, but it's going to be temporary because you'll be considered a Canadian immigrant, and an American transplant. And then when you're done with your 3 year waiting period, then you can go and try to apply. But the COVID thing or excuse me, I'm sorry, but the pandemic thing is still a problem. So yeah, I don't know what else to do.
Wow. You had to wait almost 4 years.
4 years, I know. And I've still been waiting. Yeah. So, yeah. And now they charge you. They charge you $170. Uh, we we unfortunately allowed both of Suzanne and I. She only had her Canadian passport, and I just had my American. But we just let both of them, expire. Now we can renew them both, but both of those passports together would cost us almost $350 Canadian to renew them, for just a 5 year period. That doesn't seem like a lot, but it is. It really is when you consider we live on one income, and that's it.
Yeah.
So at this point, the only thing I can really go for
Yeah.
or try for is to get a Canadian ID. Now, if I get an ID, which we hope to get next year, I can go ahead and try to apply for what they call the Ontario Health, which is called OHIP. And I do have type 2 diabetes, just like my wife does. And I do have, uh, some other minor uh, problems, with my body and things like that, which I need to fix. And I can't do that until I get the OHIP first. But in order to get it, I have to get the ID first, which doesn't really cost much. But they still don't want you to walk in the door and say, "Hey, I'm trying to get an ID here." They want you to go through all the the hoops and the circles and everything else, just to apply for it. And then if they want you to come in, they'll have you come in, but it's in a limited capacity. It's just so much bullshit, dude. It really is.
Got you, got you. Well, I see I've been on a little over 2 hours, and I have to finish my errands out here, so probably gotta wrap it up here soon. You got anything going on? Any stream schedule?
Uh, yeah, not this week. In deference to my friend, Larry's, losing his mom, but next week, yeah, we still have our weekly webcam series. You know, doing 2 episodes of shows that I'm covering right now, Monday through Thursday. And then next Friday, if you want to come, we are doing our last part 3 of the Planet of the Apes franchise. We're covering the last 3, what they call prequel movies. That would be uh, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, War for the Planet of the Apes, and the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which we just saw earlier today. So, I'm sorry, it's not Rise. Rise is the first one. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is the second one. So it goes Dawn, then War, and then
Sounds
Kingdom.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to be at 10:30
Yeah.
Eastern Time next Friday on the 25th of October. Then we're doing a pre-Hollywood or pre-Hollywood. What am I saying? A pre-Halloween stream on the 30th. We're going to be covering the Addams Family and the Munsters. Just a brief, cursory history of the franchises and what we thought of them, and then we're going to review 2 of the Addams Family films, and then there's like 2 films I think of the Munsters. So specials they had on
Oh,
TV
very
for
nice.
them.
I just the other day I just started watching the Wednesday series. I hadn't seen that before, so I just started watching the very first episode
Oh,
the
cool.
other
And what's
day.
that like?
So
I
thought
don't.
that was
Yeah,
pretty
what's
good.
that? It was it good? Oh, okay. Yeah, I
Uh,
don't.
it was pretty it was pretty dark. I liked it. Yeah, I mean, from what I
Yeah,
saw,
okay.
yeah, it started out pretty dark, and you know, good humor in there. A lot of good actors, and great makeup work. Just yeah,
Yeah.
I guess it was Tim Burton did it. So
Oh, Tim Burton did it. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah,
yeah,
uh, we own the first 2, Adams Family movies. Adams Family and Adams Family Values, and there was a third one which we saw, but yeah, it wasn't it wasn't the best. The first 2 were because they had Raul Julia played Gomez and Angelica Houston played Morticia, and those are great. But after that, when Julia basically died, that was it. And here's another interesting fact before we shut down here. In the original Adams Family, there is only one man left, and that's Gomez, and that's John Aston, and he is the only one breathing, and everybody else in the Munsters is gone. They're all dead. So yeah, of the 2 series, that's the only one man left is John. Yeah.
oh wow, wow, yeah,
Yeah. So
it's
it
big.
it should be an interesting review thing next Friday. So next week, well, looking forward to it. I'm also doing Red Dwarf. I knew you had some interest with Red Dwarf, and I'm still doing the Red Dwarf 2 episodes, every Monday for that. And then on Tuesdays I'm starting TOS. We just finished the Secrets of Isis series, and now we're working on the original Star Trek series, all 79 episodes, and we'll be doing 2 episodes a week for per week for the next 6 weeks, all the way up until November 28th. Then we got a special Thanksgiving stream we're doing that day. So
Excellent, excellent. Looking forward to all of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, alright. Well, I'm going to be doing another philosophy video over at Answers in Stoicism, probably in the next 24 hours or so. And
Cool.
other than that, we'll be doing the Path of Equanimity group tonight around 8:15. So that's the plan. And yeah, good talking to you, Mikey. Thanks to everybody for coming by. Share.
And thanks for having me, Kevin.
John,
You're a great dude.
Silver
Thank you.
Wolf, Christian Carpenter. Yeah, definitely appreciate you, Mikey.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, pressed the wrong thing. I'll make sure I didn't miss anybody in chat here. Oh, Captive Jess, Hive Psy, Halcyonic Kaiju, Daniel Berry, Geo Sam, Gorilla's Random Thoughts way earlier.
Captive Jess.
We had to go to work. Awesome.
Hive Psy, yeah.
Yeah, the Captive Jess, Dave there.
Yeah, Cher Wilkes. Yeah, and there's CC and John Lowell.
Yeah.
Or Lovell. John Lovell? Oh, Lovell, okay. And it almost looked like Lowell.
Lovell,
okay,
yeah.
John Lovell. Right, John Lovell. And of course Viking Silver Wolf. And yeah. Looks like you got everybody, buddy.
Alright. Much love, everybody. Be well and stay trusty.
Alright, stay safe out there. It's a rough world.